Okay, we're up and running, it seems. Another sunny day here in Tokyo. Another sunny day. Beautiful, beautiful weather. I've loved it the last few days. Haven't had much of a chance to get out there, but there it is. No floater, not in this light, and once the sun's gone around the corner, you can see the angle. The sunlight actually is coming right down the street. And once it's gone around the corner, we'll get a better even view. The ninja guys there across the street, they have been really, really ginky. They have been up and running and busy the last few days, absolutely. They've been doing their things outside. They've had groups of like 3, 4, 5, I think is the largest group I've seen. And they're out there on the sidewalk, slashing around, just whatever. One of the kids yesterday, the little boys, they're about 6, 7, 8 years old. That's their target audience. One of the little boys yesterday, they're doing this thing, and the guy up front is saying, no, this way, hi. And one of the kids dropped his sword. I was standing outside, watching what's going on. One of the kids dropped his sword, and I heard it clink, 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 and it's metal. It's some kind of metal. This is not some plastic pop. It clinked and it clanked as it bounced on the ground, So I don't know. And these little 6-year-old boys are waving these things out. He's got them spaced far enough apart so they don't, hit each other, but no idea. And people walking down the street are just going around this and giving them all a very, very wide berth, Okay, we are going to have a normal stream today. We are carving. There's something new to show you on that block. Just a minute. First, we get some stuff out of the way here. Actually, I can mention that first one. There's stuff to show later on. This one, I didn't get any birthday presents the other day, so I went out myself that afternoon and bought myself a birthday present. It cost me, credit card, it cost me 6,600 yen. It cost me 6,600 yen, my birthday present. And it's going to be the gift that keeps on giving. And it's morning entry fee, 2,200 yen. Tesudio, just fees in general, the fee for the pleasure of giving them money, 2,200 yen. Then morning for personal use for November, 0. And morning personal use for December, 2,200 yen. I am now a member of the swimming club up the street. It's a big fitness deal. They've got gyms and stuff which I have no interest in, but they have a beautiful, beautiful 25-meter pool up there. And I am now a member. I used to do this when I lived back in Hamura. Before I bought my house in Ome, there was a pool about 10 minutes bicycle ride away, and I did that religiously 6 days a week. 6 days a week. The kids went to school, I got on the bike, went to the pool, did a kilometer, 20 minutes, came back, got carving. And I think the idea is I should try doing this again. I'm not doing badly for 70 years old, but I really am actually quite a bit out of shape. So we'll see. And that's the idea. They open at 7 o'clock, and that's the idea. These streams are at 8 o'clock, so the idea is Monday to Friday. That's a morning membership, which doesn't allow me to use it on weekends. But Monday to Friday, if I get up there 7 o'clock, do 20 minutes, get back here, do the stream at 8 o'clock. We'll see if we can keep it up. Going to make you wear your hairnet? Yes, of course. The rules. I mean, I knew about this before I went there to sign up. The rules, it's a 60-page contract and rules and all this. This is Japan. I'm used to it by now. I'm used to it. No tattoos, so I'm still eligible. It's okay. A picture of trees. We may talk about this later. We may not talk about this later. It's too soon for this right now. We'll maybe talk about this in a couple of weeks. There's a picture of some trees. Well, I'll get that started before talking too much about it. Paper is out. Only one here today. Ishikawa-san is upstairs. She's already here and going. She'll be here today and tomorrow. She's working on the December print in this year's series. There's nobody else here at the moment. So I had to cover up all my tattoos before I get the contract. So, okay, here we are. Where did we leave off? On Thursday, when I was carving, I was partway through these little branches. Well, I finished it off. I told you I'm going to have to be doing work on this outside of stream time. So here's where we stand. The first one we did on stream is carved but not cleared. Second one is carved but not cleared. Third one is carved and cleared on the inside, not the outside. And the fourth one, we are almost finished. I will get onto this right now. So I really did have to move ahead and get going on this, because I am late. I am late. The ladies are printing the December print now, which means the next one they want to print is the January print. Everything's backwards. So you can see what we're doing here. This is the one I started it yesterday. It's 3 birds, 2 of them flying, 1 bird up at the top. And there's water and ducks at the bottom. This is all carved, and I didn't quite get it finished last night. So we'll finish this one now, excuse me, and then we'll move on to the one at the end. So someone's saying that the exercise, start slow, don't overdo it at first. There's no way I'm going to be able to overdo it. I really am totally stiff. I'm basically a healthy person. It's okay. I eat well, sleep well, and I'm healthy, but everything is stiff. I used to swim, every day, and now I can't even turn my head past like 45 degrees. I just can't turn it anymore. I can't, everything is extremely stiff. So the first day there, you're allowed to start on the 1st of the month or the 16th. So I've paid my membership, but they don't let you in until the 16th. So next Tuesday is going to be the first day. Rules. This is Japan. There are rules. There are rules. There's only 2 days a month where you're allowed to start using the facilities. That kind of stuff would have bugged me so much in the early days. What are you doing? Stupid rule. What are you doing? Now I just, yes sir, okay. Hi, yes sir, yes sir. So that first day, next Tuesday, I am going to take it very, very easy. They're going to laugh. Look at the old dude there. He thinks he can swim. I'm going to splish splash my way down the pool, gasp in exhaustion, wait 10 minutes and do another length. We'll see. It'll take a while to get back to normal. The guy was explaining the rules, and he looked at me and said, one of the rules in this pool, and I have to emphasize this right at the front, he says there's no passing. When you're swimming up to somebody in front of you and they're in the same lane, there's no passing. Do you understand? And I'm saying, yeah, I get it, no passing, don't worry. He says, do you understand? There's no passing, right? Like he looked at me twice, like he looks at me thinking like I'm going to be a guy who's going to break that rule, and I'm like, I'm going to be the one in front, worried about the guy behind me who's at my feet. Rules, rules, rules. The country of rules. last night carving this thing. I came down last night after dinner working on this block, and there's a whole bunch of little tiny, I don't know, they're berries or something. So this block was round, 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 round. And the birds were really nice, swooping curves on the birds. This is going to be fun this morning too. Nice. This long curves. Beautiful. Passing has different meanings, does it? Okay. I know. I don't think I'll be peeing in the pool. I'm a big boy here, 70 years old, you know. Actually, I read somewhere about that. I've got no idea. Years and years and years and years ago, I read something like that. There'd been a sports club or a facility or something that felt they'd had problem with this. I guess they have kids' lessons and kids' classes or something. And there had been a problem with people peeing in the pool, I guess. I don't know any details here. It's just a vague story that's half remembered. And they had solved it they found some kind of chemical that they add to the water. And you don't know it's there, you don't see it's there, nothing is there. But it turns out that when ammonia hits it, the ammonia from pee, it went red or something. So they put this in the pool one day, and then the kids are in there and whatever, and there's red clouds surrounding each kid. So I don't know if that's a real story or apocryphal or whatever. So but yeah, the first few days are going to be tough. I absolutely understand they're going to be tough, but we'll see how it goes. One thing I was surprised about with that fitness club registration, fitness clubs are famous for, of course, lots of people sign up and then, don't really use the facilities. So I think every fitness club in the world has like thousands of members who pay but don't actually use it. They have good intentions and they don't go and stuff like that. And there's also, you give them your bank card, of course, and they do the automatic withdrawal from your bank account every month. So one of the first questions I was asking the guy when I came up to the counter to see how this works was, how do you quit? I mean, that's not really the one thing you should ask him at the beginning, but it's, there's a deal here where they take your credit card and you try and quit and you can't find the phone number and, all that stuff, And actually, it was quite simple. It's no problem at all, as long as you tell them before the 27th. The 27th is the day they take the money out. And that's the cutoff date for notifications. And it's there in the contract. As long as you tell them before the 27th, that's it. You can, they will stop taking the money out of your account. So that was the one thing that I was sort of concerned about. I do intend to do this, I think. So does everybody. But there's that classic case of, getting into a subscription and not being able to get out of it, and that sort of stuff, I'm actually quite surprised about our own subscription systems, We ourselves, me and Cameron have talked about this quite a lot, He's been managing our subscriptions, and that we ourselves don't do the automatic bank withdrawal system for our print subscriptions. Sometimes people ask us, And we say, no, we don't do that. We don't want your credit card number. We don't want to keep your credit card number. We don't want to do anything automatic. Each month, we'll send you the note saying the print is ready. Here's where to, pay for it. And sometimes people do drop out, or sometimes they let us know, look, I've lost my job, what's going to happen? And we instantly put their subscription on pause / hold / whatever. And then we really miss a beat. People get to the 12th print in December or whenever it is that they're finishing. And not only do we not force a renewal, we bend over backwards the other way. We don't even send them a note saying, hey, you've come to the end, you want some more. And we're leaving money on the table, we know that. But it's in reaction to the overall subscription scam where you can't get out of it. That we're so sensitive to not being like that we miss a beat. People will finish the series and then they don't hear from us, and then next month nothing will happen and they will gradually forget about it and it's all finished. So we're definitely quote unquote losing this way. But I just do not want to be anything involved with any kind of pressure for people to do those things, So if we lose, say we lose, but at least we sleep. Cameron too, he's happy to be part of that. So But I was pleasantly surprised to see that the sports club makes it easy to finish, unless there's something I'm missing and the contract is, deep, dark down inside the contract. There's something else there. I don't know. On my own screen. Hey. So it's been saying Jim's making it possible to quit. So this was a concern of mine. So it was one of the first things that I asked. So Sunny and 11 in Tokyo. It is a perfect weather. If I could freeze the clock, freeze the calendar, and say that's it, just be like this every day, never change. This is the day I would choose. This is the type of weather I would choose. Did you see the news the other day, about the company that set up a new way to launch satellites, the spin thing? That came out of the blue the other day. And when I saw the little news report in my Google News feed, I thought, what's this? April 1st? It's April 1st, right? But no, it wasn't an April 1st story. It's a real thing, and they've actually built a test of this thing. I don't know if you saw it. And that was astonishing to see that. The plan, it's slick, everything about the place, and the promo videos and everything else, and it seems a little bit too slick to be real, but there they are. It seems they've actually built this test, unless it's all some super scam. They built this test and launched this thing. And I sat there looking at that. They launched their first bullet up into the air, but then their plan is to have this thing, what was it? It's going to be 12 meters wide, and they're going to spin and launch. Just this spin launch, I think. Just Google for spin launch, and you'll see it. There's some really super slick videos. And when I first saw this, I thought, this has got to be a scam. This has got to be a scam, but it seems to be real. So, but I'm not a physicist, whatever, but when you think about how this works, that spins, I didn't see any raw numbers in their thing, but a thing 12 meters wide, they've got that rocket on the end. I think they said it's going to spin at 450 RPM at the moment of launch. It takes a few minutes to get up to that speed. So I guess the numbers work in terms of the velocity going out of the cannon. But there's two things that they don't seem to talk about in any of their materials, and then I'm thinking, what about the physics here? And one is when that capsule breaks out of the vacuum and hits the atmosphere at the end of the cannon, it's going to be like hitting a concrete wall. I mean, it spins in a vacuum up to 450 RPMs with a 12-meter long boom or whatever it is. It's way supersonic, and it comes out of that exit at supersonic speeds and hits the atmosphere. It's got to be like hitting a concrete wall. It's surely going to destroy itself at that moment. I guess they figure, or they've got it worked out, that no, it doesn't. And the other thing, that inside the spinner, they've got the rocket on one end of this arm and a counterweight balance on the other end of this arm, and it slowly starts spinning, and then faster and faster up until 450 RPMs, whatever. And then at that, just before, the minute before the thing lets go, I have no idea how to calculate it. How heavy is that thing, the G-forces? And it's not going to be like 10 Gs or 20 Gs. It's going to be like, I don't even know, 100 Gs or 200 or something. So the thing has to be strong enough to hold that rocket at like 200 Gs. And if it's a 500-pound rocket, that means it's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tons. So the holding mechanism has to hold it, and then within an infinite split second let go so that thing goes off. And that's an engineering problem. I don't know. And then after they let go, this thing now has all been counterweighted and balanced, but all of a sudden one person has jumped off the teeter-totter. I guess they know what they're doing, but boy oh boy, if I had been asked to invest in this, and that was their plan, I'd look at that and I'd think, I see some problems here that may not be all that easily solvable, but whatever, let's go. If they can do it, I'm the guy who laughed at SpaceX, whatever it was, 10, 15 years ago. Like these guys, they think they're going to be able to shoot a rocket up, separate it, have enough gas left to land this thing. They think they're going to make this happen. I wouldn't have bet on it. I would have bet against it. These guys think they can do that. Ha, 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 ha. So much for that. then there was that day, what was the last year, when they landed 3 of those things at exactly the same time. And I'm just like, okay, you said you could do it. I was wrong, 100% wrong. So my track record on this stuff is not, it's nothing. My track record is nothing. Yeah, release the counterweight at the same moment. Where? Down into a mine shaft? I don't know. Anyway, it's fun. One thing I am really, really pleased about is just what's happening in the space scene these days, All my life, remember, I was a teenager. I was like, how old was I? I was 18 when Armstrong walked on the moon. And the mood then, oh my God, we're going to be going up soon. I'll get a vacation in the space station and people are walking on the moon and we've arrived. The era of space exploration has arrived. Was sort of the mood in the air, at least for people like me, back when Armstrong walked on the moon. And, we all know what happened. The problems were a little bit more difficult and it was more expensive and it wasn't quite so easy. So it all went to sleep. So for me to see this actually all happening now, to see SpaceX doing that and everybody else, it's wonderful. It's sort of too late for me personally, but I'm very happy to finally see it happening. So the spin launch thing here, I'm not in any way saying, go back into your shell, guys. If they can make it happen, that's fine. But I don't know. I don't know about the physics. I guess they've got it worked out, I guess. What happens to that rotating arm at the minute the rocket takes off, And then the heat, I guess, once that thing clears the vacuum chamber, hits the atmosphere, assuming they've built it strong enough so it doesn't just shatter into a jillion pieces, the heat over the next couple of minutes as it goes up, it's the same thing like when they have these capsules coming down. They need these heat shields to lose the heat, to lose the speed. I don't know. Okay, this one now is also finished. There we are. 3 birds, a bunch of berries, 2 ducks. It's finished. This one is done. 2 little birdies at the top. It turns out we're making a bird series this year. I didn't realize. Bamboo, this one's not cleared. More bamboo. Let's get busy on our fish. Surrounded by, what is it, more pine needles? I guess. I don't know. Tree trunk. Where do we start? Let's start with the tree. I really had to move ahead of this, ahead on this. I couldn't continue just going at the pace we were doing on this Twitch streams. I just had to cut and run. In the last 2 days, I've spent most of the last 2 days sitting here at this block. So I was asking, these designs were made to celebrate some guy's new house. For those of you who don't know what's on about, here's one of the picture of one of the originals. It was a set of prints, about 20 prints, made by a collector's group. And they were always searching around for themes. Sometimes the theme, a common one in my collection here, a group would say they'd take a trip to Osaka for a festival. They'd get back and they would make a set of 8 prints commemorating the trip to Osaka, the places they drank and ate and some of the stuff they saw. So the theme itself really wasn't so important. These people in these groups, mostly guys, retired men perhaps for the most part, local businessmen, the theme wasn't so important. They just needed something to hang the thing on so they could just get busy and make these things. And this particular theme we can see from the wording here in celebration of Yamashita-san finishing his new house, Showa 12. And Yamashita-san probably wouldn't even have known this was happening. He may have, but my guess is that he wouldn't have known what's happening and they would spring this on him as a surprise. Here you are, congratulations on your house, and we chose that as the theme for this one. Now you know why we weren't talking to you last week or something like this, I don't know. So the collectors group, almost certainly, everybody's name is on there. Each one. This one is Okamoto, the name at the bottom, Okamoto Shimizu. Then the next one was Inoue Matsuyoshi, I'm not quite sure, Inoue-san. So the group members, they got their name, one on each one, and they would have sponsored them. This is the way they get. So my guess is Yamashita-san didn't know what was going on here, but I don't know. He could have been in on it from the beginning too. I don't know. Question. John says, we haven't had much clearing in this cycle. Clearing, you mean like what I just did with the chisel here, you mean? Clearing this stuff? I can clear a bit. It's not really so interesting, you know. It's not interesting so much at all. I'm not, these things are way too small to start using the persuader. There's no way I will be banging around with the persuader, maybe outside, but not inside. In fact, I think about now for most of this year, we are really not going to see very much persuading at all, you know. Oh, also, too, that's something else about the thing. I know, the other day, Aoyama-san and I, my partner here at Mokuhankan, we were trying to figure out the distribution of work here over the next year. I know we've got a couple of projects that have been falling behind. The cat series, we're doing it now, but we've been falling behind, and we've been trying to figure out how to get that thing wakened up properly and moving forward properly. And we think we've come up with a potential solution as to how to do this. We've got 3 carvers here, myself, Chon-san, the young man from Hong Kong, and Kawasaki-san, the young lady who lives in Kobe, Kawasaki Noriko. And we haven't had a specific assignment of work. We've just sort of shuffled things around, and whatever comes down the pipe, whoever has been available, we've done this. So last year's series, the current series, this year's series, we all took turns. I did number 1 and number 5 and number 8, the tiger. And then Chon-san and Kawasaki-san did the other ones. But it was difficult to keep to a clean schedule on it. And I was assuming we would just move ahead next year's series and do it the same way. But the problem there then is that 8 Views of Cats gets completely ignored because it's not on an actual schedule. So we sat down, me and Aoyama-san and Chon-san, And we sat down and we made a sort of a plan for 2022. And the plan being this: in order to get the Cats series back on track and get it finished, we need to prioritize it more. So what we've decided to do is this: we've assigned carvers jobs for 2022. And what seemed to make the most sense is this: Dave here is doing the first pair of prints in the 2022 series. John-san, as we speak, he's working on cat number 4. Kawasaki-san is working on cat number 3. So what we're going to do is this: we are going to assign the people just like that. Dave is going to keep going with this year's series. After I finish 1 and 2 here, the pair, I am then also going to do 3 and 4. John-san, after doing cat number 4, will move on to cat number 5. Kawasaki-san. So those two guys are going to stay on the Cats until we finish that series. And I'm going to stay on the match labels. At least until the Cats are done. Because it's crazy. We've spent 2 years on that project, and we've only got 2 prints published. So that's the assignment. I've been assigned to be the main carver on the match label prints, which it's okay. I like that. I like these. The work suits me. And that's going to affect the streams here, the Twitch streams, because it means you are going to see a lot of this kind of stuff over the next few months. The crunch, sorry about that, the crunch. So, sounds like you need more carvers. More than that, we need printers. Has any art been revealed for Cats 3 and 4? Yes, it has. I don't have a link for it right now. The web page is there, the 8 Views of Cats website. It's called nekohake.com. There is an update page there. It hasn't been updated in quite some time. I will be updating it soon because we do have action. And there is number 3, the first test proofing of number 3 is up there. And I think the sketch, the line work for number 4 is up there. I don't really remember, I'm sorry. What am I doing with these straight lines? The inside one here, this is not cut, that's cut. People keep asking me too about the straight line ruler. And yeah, we'll be using it. I'm going to use it to do all the outsides. So just sit tight. The time will come. Relax. I said Chonsan's carving the fourth cat. That's the descending geese one, and we've been refining the image now over the past week or so. Rodei-chan has been doing the cleanup work on the hunch to the design. It's no, this is a bit of a mixed thing. Who did the design is a little bit unclear. When we opened the 8 Views of Cats series back at the beginning, a couple of years ago, there was a flood of designs came in right at the beginning, and among them were some designs, well, it's still happening. There were lots of designs from people who can't draw, but they had some kind of idea for what to do. And there was one of the descending geese ideas. The person, I think it was a young man, I can't remember, I wrote to him at the time. He sent the idea in and he said, look, I can't draw, but what about this for an idea? And he wrote an incredibly clumsy, funny little sketch, just enough to sort of show the concept. And that's okay, I'm not insulting, I'm just describing the thing. If I was doing it, I'd be doing exactly the same thing. And the concept was a winner. And in fact, later on, as the thing has progressed, a couple of other people have also sent in the same idea. Because once you see it, it's one of those things that's a little bit of an obvious idea. So anyway, this young man sent in the idea first, and I'm like, that we've got to do, but the problem was he couldn't draw. Not even close. I mean, not even remotely anything was possible. So I wrote back to him, I said, look, I'd like to think about maybe using this one, but obviously what you've drawn there is not suitable. What do you think if we sort of ran with it here ourselves? And he wrote back, and he's like over the moon. My God, sure, wow, thank you. And we didn't work out any specific financial arrangement at the time, but clearly what we have to do is, normally we've been paying a royalty to the designer when they, give us the design that we turn into a print. And in the case of this one, he's given us the concept, but then we've done the work to actually turn it into something that looks like a print. So we owe him something, but I also have to pay the staff here who actually did the work at making the design happen. So I guess before we actually go into production, I'll write back to him again and say, okay, here, how about this idea? Let's do a royalty split. The artist's royalty for this sort of design is 10%, but let's do a split. X% to you for the concept, and X% to Rei-chan, our young staff member, who took the concept and then created a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful design based on it. And I just have to find that number, how to split the 10% between the two of them. And then I hope there isn't going to be any problem. As I said, there's 2 or 3 other people who later on sent in the same sort of concept. And they're nothing to do with it. We had already moved on, but we had already moved forward with it by the time they did that. But they don't know that, and they may see me publish this print, and they will think, hey, I sent Dave that concept. So I don't know. I have to be careful. We'll see. Cross that bridge when we get to it. Someone says you don't owe them anything for an idea. I do. Absolutely I do. I do, absolutely. There's not even anything, no discussion about that. I opened a website saying, send me ideas and sketches and drawings so we could make some prints here, and people did. And I promised at the beginning I would pay royalties. So of course I owe that person, absolutely. That's not even on the table. So I'm saying very generous of you. It's not generous, this is business. And we hire people to do designs and we pay them for the designs. There's nothing generous about it. This is business. So I'm not doing anything wonderful here. This is business, I asked for a product and the people have sent it in, so So yeah, the website is ready for an update. I know, as I said, as soon as I get a bit out from underneath this Christmas rush stuff, it's time for an update on there. Maybe it'll be a video update, I don't know. And I should make it a bit more clear on the web page which ones are still open and which ones are not open. Just among the things to do, priorities. So. But the print is a killer. I know Day-chan and Day-chan's been working on it with my noisy suggestions. That doesn't work. How about this? What if we do this? She goes back and comes back to me later the next couple of days. We've been working on it, and it is a killer print. The first one we did, the mountains, that was just so much fun. Okay. We made the print at a fairly rudimentary level because we based it on Randall's designs. He's a tattoo artist. The second one, the night rain with the bonsai and the cat, we really, I think, upped the level on that one. And it turned out to be more expensive because we took many more impressions. And this number 3 is a nice print. It's a different style. It's more of a sort of Yoshida style print. And then this 4th one, Descending Geese, is another blockbuster. It's a blockbuster. It is so much fun. So seeing that happen has made me realize we have got to get busy on that series. Get going. 4 more. So anyway, long story short, that's it. I will be working on the match labels. As soon as I finish this one, it goes to the printers. I'll be starting the next one, 3 and 4. Dangerous. Who is the woman on the sign of the street? It's not a woman, actually. It's a guy. The one we can see here. Just a sec. We're talking about, it's in the shadow at the moment. The top left there, it's a guy. I don't remember his name. I can't read it at this distance. I've only walked by it 10,000 times. These are old comedians who worked on this street. This street was all theaters. It was wall-to-wall theaters. Someone's asking, Dave, do I still check the new CAT applications coming in? Of course. Everything comes across my desk. I know if you sent something and I didn't get a reply, there's no way I replied to them all. In the beginning, there were thousands of them, and sometimes hundreds a day. I do not reply individually. When they come in, I do a quick triage. I do oh my God, no. It just goes into the database, there it is. Or I do, something's there, let's think about this later. Or I put, that's A group, let's think about that. So I do a quick triage, 1, 2, 3. And the 1, 2 groups I will be studying later. The 3 group I will probably never see again. There are a lot of people who have not followed the basic rule that I set down on that page. I don't want to go over it again and again and again, but when I've emphasized this on the page a few times, I emphasized it again in the videos. It's 8 views of cats. It's not 8 views with cats. And a huge number of the entries, maybe half of them, I don't know. It's Mount Fuji, there's a window, and a cat sitting in the window looking at Mount Fuji. That's not what we're looking for. And whatever I tried to express this, it's not just a view with a cat stuck in it. That doesn't ring my bell. It's not what we're trying to do here. I'm sorry for the bad news, but if that's the kind of thing you've sent in, it's just gone into my, okay, thank you, and I will never look at it again. It's not 8 views with cats. The cat has to be there for a reason. the other part of it, and something that very much tickles my, whatever, hits my buttons, is the historical aspect of this concept, the 8 views concept. The historical part is there's the 8 themes. It has to represent evening rain, or, the snow, or the geese, etc., etc. Has to be there somewhere. Of course, that's one of the ground rules. But over and above that, the things that really tickle my fancy is if you can make it even more evocative or meaningful of the 8 Views series, or historical, something to do with woodblock prints. We saw this in the first 2. Randall's design of the cats, the snow mountains, of course, is hugely tied to our work here already. So that's 100% on the way already towards making me think, oh, look at that. Then the cat and the bonsai print. I don't know if you know this or not. I don't know, did I talk about it? I can't remember. It's night rain, but what Jonathan did, he didn't just design an original new print of a cat with a bonsai tree. He went back to the night rain concept, looked at a whole bunch of the old prints that were 8 views night rain, and he incorporated history from them in his designs. How? Hokusai himself did an 8 views series, the original 8 views of Omihake, the area around what we now call Lake Biwa. And Hokusai did an 8 views of that one, and his night rain print, it's the old pine at Karasaki. And if you hunt that up, if you look for Hokusai 8 views night rain, find an image of that somewhere, and look at the shape of that pine tree, and then look at our print, the one that Jonathan designed for us, you'll see, oh, I see what he's done there. And when Dave saw this, he jumped up and down with pleasure. You get it, you get it. So if you're still thinking about handing in designs, I mean, these are the secrets. These are the things to do to get my attention. Of course, do the theme, but incorporate the history. You do that and I'll wake up, absolutely. But cats don't need a reason. I get it. I know. Okay, that one's all cleared now. Oh no, empty space. Look at this. One bit at the bottom. One of the themes in the cats, of course, is clearing weather, and I wonder, I guess it wouldn't really work, but it's nice weather here in Tokyo. It's perfect weather for clearing a block like this. So does that count as clearing weather? I don't know. Clearing weather or clearing weather? This is what our Oshibori guy, is it? I suppose we should recognize it. Is it the vegetable guy or the Oshibori guy? No, it's not Oshibori, it's vegetables. He delivers vegetables to the restaurant across the street, one of the restaurants across the street. You can tell by the styrofoam sound. The Oshibori truck has a certain bunch of plastic trays he drops on the ground. And this guy has styrofoam trays with fish and vegetables or whatever. So even if you don't look outside, you can still tell which of those trucks it is. So. Okay, that one too is, I believe, all cleared. So we have 3 of them now, fully cut and cleared on the inside. This one's not cleared yet, but let's leave that for now. Let's get some more cutting. Fish in a waterfall. Let's get going. Let's start cutting this one. And zones. There's the fish in the water, which crosses his body. There's a tree here, and it looks like pine needles all over the place, and falling water. So let's hit the tree. We have a show and tell today. It's a show and tell some new old stuff. And we're going to compare 2 things. We're going to look at one book that we already did show and tell once. And we've got another new item that has just come in, and we're going to compare the 2. Bowl of noodles. Let's see. And before we do that, there's something else I have to open today. I screwed up very, very, very badly on the last stream, Thursday, when it was my birthday. I screwed up and I didn't realize it till after the stream was over. So we'll talk about that too at show and tell time. When was the last time I drove a car? You gotta be kidding. I don't know. In Toronto. $1979. It'd be 1979 in Toronto. That'd be the last time I ever drove a car, when I was working for the music store. Questions. How much time do I spend searching on auctions? Almost none. I know I don't go to eBay, I don't do anything outside. There's Yahoo auctions here in Japan. I have keyword searches, keyword alerts in there. And every morning in my email, I spend about 10 or 15 minutes looking through the keyword results. And then in the evening, again, I spend about 10, 15, 20 minutes looking through the keyword results. So half an hour a day or so I spend flicking, no, ooh, let's have a look, no, ooh. I spend about a half an hour a day looking through this. I don't do eBay, I don't do anything like that at all. Belated birthday, thank you very much, no problem at all, thank you. It's the 13th here now. And we're safe now to talk about myself on Twitch. Like we said, the joke was the other day, no more Mr. Nice Guy here on Twitch, so. And my eldest daughter, she's funny, she's she uses Facebook a lot. So she always sends me, oh, Dad, happy birthday, I just remembered. And she sends that to me, and I know exactly what happens. Facebook sends out these reminders. to people, I know your friend such and such is having a birthday today, I guess, whatever. So my daughter Himi sees this reminder, and it's always a day late because for her it's the 11th, for me it's already the 12th by then. So my daughter always sends me this note, "Hi Dad, happy birthday." It's always from the Facebook reminder, so it's okay. I can remember hers fairly easily because she tried to be an April Fool baby. Didn't quite make it, but her birthday's April 2nd. She was going to be an April Fool baby. It was labor started in the afternoon of the last day of March, and we were thinking, here we go, we got an April Fool baby, but didn't work out like that. So hers is easy to remember. Something to an episode I had yesterday. Is my mother here today? Has anybody seen her? Mom, are you here today watching? Users in chat. Look at all these users. Oh my God, EFGHI. I don't see my mother's name here. Okay, she's not in today. Okay, whatever. We had a story yesterday that she would smile at, but no. No, I don't see her either. She could be out for a walk. I know my daughter, the daughter I just mentioned, Himi-chan, my older daughter, she has been watching over my mother this past few weeks. I know my sister is normally the number one watch out person for my mother. They live nearby. My sister has an apartment in the same town, Vancouver, as my mother, and she's the normal one who watches over. But my sister is on a sort of vacation right now out of town, so Himi, my older daughter, is keeping an eye out, and I think she's taken her out to the park and all this kind of stuff. So they're probably out this afternoon. So it's better to get out for a day in the park than watch Twitch streams. But I had a funny episode that my mother would. It's one of those episodes she would smile about, but also cry about. It's a memory of my dad, and so it's just as well, whatever, we can leave it. Excuse me. What's the time? We're okay? 8. We're still good to go. Hi. Bet is not having tea with Sherry. Sherry's out of town, but whatever. So. Someone's asking, did the old timers have magnification? No, they just had good eyes. I know. There was lots of stuff a lot smaller than this. I mean, remember what we're making here is a reproduction, and the guy who carved it before me almost certainly didn't use a microscope. Almost certainly. You know, you hunch up close to it. You've seen the video of me and Ito-san, and you know the funny thing about Ito-san is, you know, he's got his glasses on his desk beside him, and Ito-san carved, you know, right up until the week he died, at 80 whatever it was, and he carved, and the glasses are on the bench next to him. He's got his face real close to the wood, hunched over onto the wood. Then he'd stop carving for a minute, pick up his glasses, put them on, inspect the work he's done for the past couple of minutes. Then take his glasses off, pick up the knife and get back to it, you know. And we all have different, you know, whatever, myopia or, you know, different problems with our eyes as we get older. And the carvers who had lots of problems just stopped carving, did other work. And the guys who had the best natural eyesight just would keep going. If it wasn't for the lens and my glasses, I would have been finished years ago. I can walk around town with no glasses, completely okay, and I can see distant stuff. You know, my daughter and I, my younger daughter, last time I was in Vancouver, we were sort of joking about this. She was driving me to the airport, and she was like sort of asking me questions about my health, am I okay, and blah, 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 you know. And she was worried about my eyes because she sees me using this scope and stuff. And yet we did a little test. She and I are in the car on the way to the airport, and I'm like, okay, well, see that car, you know, 2 blocks in front of us? The license plate is XYZ123. And she's like, what car? And so I'm okay at that level. I can see distance and I can see outside completely okay. It's when you get within arm's length that my eyes just, I can't do it. I can't read a newspaper, I can't read a book. I can see the newspaper, but it's a complete gray-white blur. There's absolutely nothing I can read. If I tried to carve now without anything, all I can see is that there's a block there with something on it. I could not do this. And I guess this is one of the ones that happen with age, you know. So it's case by case. If this was 200 years ago, my career would have been finished, you know. And the guy on the next bench, his eyes are different. He would continue. And I now have this 4. I have glasses number 1 for if I was reading the newspaper, if I were reading. I have glasses number 2 for if I was carving this. So that's sort of, glasses number 1 are newspaper distance. Glasses number 2 are that distance. And then I've got the desk lens that I use. The desk lens that I put on top for casual use. And then for this delicate carving, I use the scope. And without these tools, that would be it. My carving career would be over. You know. I never remember which it is, nearsighted, farsighted. What do those 2 words mean? I know I can't read a newspaper, so does that mean I'm farsighted or does it mean I'm nearsighted? I don't know those expressions. And then on top of that, there's the other eye problem, but whatever, that's a different story. Okay, I think there, well, that'll do us. That'll do us. Farsighted equals can't see close. Okay, so farsighted is the thing you can see. Okay. I'll forget 10 minutes later, I'll have forgotten, but it's okay. Thanks, John. Will I stick to the original colors for these prints? No. We are going to, we're going to see them, we're going to watch them and look at them and think about them. The water is going to be blue, whatever. But I'm not going to be, this is not a reproduction. We are not going to reproduce these as the originals were. We are going to reproduce the look and feel. They're going to be very similar, but we are not going to reproduce the original prints just as they were. So no, we'll see. When we get to that stage, we'll see what happens. Okay, we have a show and tell, but before the show and tell, we have a couple of things to touch on. Etone. Number one, let's see, what should we do? Number one is this. We saw quickly, we looked at this the other day. A young man from Spain wrote to me and included a couple of prints. I had to be careful with this. I didn't read the letter and stuff on the stream because you never know how much of this is private and how much is for public consumption. But he did write a very polite letter. He learned a lot from my videos, blah, blah, blah. Very, very polite letter. But he also put questions about the prints. And these are worth discussing publicly. So before I start the show and tell today, let me go back to this just for a couple of minutes and look at his two prints and let me answer his questions in public so that we can, get the benefit of this. He said, 1, I don't know how to avoid the unwanted areas in printing. And I assume he's talking about the mess around the edge. He says, I really carved them really deep, but they continue appearing. You can see them in the prints. And, well, he says he carved them really deep, but they are, like this blue one is right exactly next to there. And this blue one is right next to it. They are really close. If we see them out far away in the ocean, away from the printed areas, if there was one appearing here, we would think it hasn't been carved deep enough. But here there is nothing, and it seems he has carved deep enough. So the only marks we are seeing are actually really close to the printed areas. Now, it could be that he hasn't carved them deep enough, but he says, I've carved them deep. So what we're looking at here then is not so much a carving problem, but a printing problem. I don't know what he's printing with. If he has, this is upside down, but you can see the idea. If he is printing with the baron would go over the top of these, and it would never go down into the bottom here. So this makes me think that he is not either, he's got a spoon or something. I don't have a spoon handy, but whatever. If you imagine rubbing with a spoon, you're going to fall into the in-between areas. So this might be part of the problem. He doesn't have a good flat tool, or it could be careless in something like this. As you're printing, once you put the paper on, you can't see anymore where you are. So for beginners, you start rubbing and bang, bang, bang. You will bang these places because you can't see them. So step one, when you're doing your first printing, you've got to think, where am I? Lightly touch it, look at it, pick it up, lightly touch it, look at it, figure out where you are. And then once you can see bird, flower, flower, bird only, flower only, flower only, you don't rub across the whole thing. So maybe, and again, none of this is insulting, I'm just answering the question, these blots come not from bad carving, but from being pushed in the printing. And another thing that I used to do all the time before I woke up, you'd put the paper down and you touch it on the back, get it ready. And we saw this in a print party all the time. In fact, we were ready to grab people's hands. They put the paper on the block and they want to touch it. And that's death. If you touch the bird, you're okay. If you touch in between it, bingo, there's your block. So Mr. Amiel from Spain, whatever, those are a couple of things, please. If you do have a flat tool, number one, don't touch. What else can I say? John says, no, I never did that. It's like the little kid. Cookie jar? No, I didn't touch that. I didn't touch cookie jar. Here's another question. Do you know of an alternative for the shark skin for the brushes? It doesn't matter, guy. It doesn't matter. What we're doing here right now, you need just basic practice on fundamentals. Don't worry excessively about getting your brush really, really soft. Don't run to the fish shop. You don't need a shark skin. A brush as it comes is fine for what you're doing at this level. And I'm not being insulting. Just, worry about more basic stuff first right now. The carving is fine. The printing is a disaster. Sandpaper doesn't work. Sandpaper just simply makes the hairs shorter, doesn't make them any more delicate. There is a thing, kind of like a cheese grater. They call it dragon skin. It's a piece of metal with punches in it, and it has hooks. And if it turns out that if you scrape a brush over one of those things, it's like a cheese grater. It does. It tears the hair rather than, making it shorter. Anyways, I should have done this the other day, but I didn't read the letter all the way down to the end. So, another thing has arrived. It's a package from my mother, which is a birthday card, but given that she's not here today, we will open it some other time. Okay, the show and tell. We have a show and tell today. It's a book. It's a book of a type that we have seen before. This one we saw some months ago here on the show and tell. This one is today's episode. And it makes more sense to look at them together than it does just to look at one like this. It's another one of those accordion books. We see these all the time here. It's a bunch of woodblock prints pasted on in accordion style. The print would have been made as a print like this, folded in the middle, and then glued together with some others. So we see these accordion books. You've seen them. They're a standard deal for us. Sometimes it's on one side and the back side. It's like some kind of magic book of cards here. And sometimes, as with this one today, it's on one side and nothing is on the back. So they could have bound the book at the back and it would just become a normal book. The reason I wanted to bring the other one out today is we have this thing, everybody's got this story, the old woodblock prints cost the same as a bowl of noodles. And whatever. The point I want to make today is there is no single unified number involved with what the old prints used to cost. There was a huge variation. There was cheap crap. There was a little bit better, and there was wonderful stuff at the top. There was no unified, of course, price for woodblock prints. The one we're looking at today is one of these series that was very common in the late Meiji, showing housewives sort of how the other half lived. This was an era when the working class peasants and farmers and peasants and farmers and craftsmen were turning into what we now know as the middle class. And they didn't know what to wear, they didn't know how to behave, so all kinds of woodblock prints and newspaper stories and magazine stories showed upper class people's homes and lives. Things that never could have been shown back in the Edo era because they wouldn't have been permitted. So we have a book like this, there's no date on it, but it's somewhere around 1880, 1890, maybe even as late as 1900. And it's a book of images showing fancy-dancy people what they were doing in their own home. This is ikebana, flower arranging. And the person who couldn't afford this kind of stuff yet could see these things. They can see what kind of kimono colors, what are the current fashions, how to do these things. Half of it is aspirational, half of it's educational, and half of it is just like we have these days, lives of the rich and famous on Instagram and reality TV. It's a mix of those things. A very, very, very common pattern in Meiji time. And this book, it sort of looks gorgeous at first glance, but it really is a bit lower class printing. I brought another one here that we've seen before to try and compare side by side. Carving and printing on this one were stunning and magnificent. Very, very careful work. This one today we're looking at, it's okay, but it's nowhere near as high level. This is B rank, C rank, something like this. Let's flip through. Is that the first one? Let me start at the beginning. Okay, let's start at the beginning and flip through and see what we have here. Oh, descending geese, cranes. The previous one was marked ikebana. This one is marked picture. And the message here is clear. If you're an upper class or wealthy person, art and pictures are going to be part of your life. Fingers, nay, fingers. People talk about the fingers. There were conventions. Fingers were always drawn the same. Pets were always drawn the same. You'll see. Oh, the fingers, I see. This is what you're on about, was it? Look at this. So, I mean, this is, like I said, this is not, top class work. It's, whatever. It's a bit of a B rank, Skeleton hands, so. There's bits and pieces. There's embossing here, which almost fits inside the lines, not quite. There's touches of misregistration. This is not a top quality book. This is, next level down, as I said. Koto, this is a busy one. Oh my God, look at the detail in this thing. There's a picture within a picture. Before you start yelling, that's not her natural fingers. She is wearing, what do you call them? We use a guitar pick, she's wearing things on her fingers. Don't panic, Kantar, don't panic. That's not her fingers. Those are plectrums, plectrums. Picks, finger picks, whatever. Plectra, yeah, John's got it. So take it easy with the fingers here. It's nice. Uta chirabe, uta arabe. I can't read the second kanji here. This uta song, arabe. Whatever. Music lessons. This one now, we have a problem with this one. The markings here. What you're seeing here, this is oxidization, heavy oxidization of the pigment, one of the pigments in the shu, a vermilion family. Excuse me. It could be the pigment called tan. It could be vermilion. It'll be sulfuretted mercury, I think, is the actual compound, and it oxidizes very heavily. And this is how rich people make their outing to the local park in a kago. I can't imagine living like this. My God, what an awful life. Trapped. You can't step outside without being perfectly kimonoed, perfectly coiffed. Somebody would see you. It's like being If you're a pop star today, the paparazzi are outside your window. You can't run to the convenience store, get a cup of coffee. They're all waiting to take their pictures. And so for someone in a family like this, it's the same thing. Coiffed. If I got the coiffed, what's the word? Coiffed. How do you pronounce that? What did I say? And the colors here, this is not, these are god-awful. I'm embarrassed to show you this. This is not top-level work. Look at this. Look at this. This is embarrassing. The Japanese delicate sensitivity of color palettes. This is a kindergarten kid slapping stuff together. So, Neapolitan ice cream. I think it's not Neapolitan, it's Neapolitan to show. N-E-A, Neapolitan. It's not Neapolitan. Kantar, Wikipedia, Neapolitan. All the time in trouble. They are spectacular. I'm sitting here taking digs at these because they're not as good. The other book we've got here is much more finely touched and made. Every step of it is different, except disasters like that. But the point being, there's a difference. This is top level work, refinement, absolute refinement in every line, every color, and every design. And this one, refined, is not the word you would use. This is gaudy, it's gauche, the colors don't match. So, but if you didn't know, if you just came along, if I just showed you, look at this wonderful Japanese print from the old days, it would be, spectacular. But there is really a difference. There really is a difference. If this is all you saw, you would think, my God, what an incredible technology, what an incredible craft, what incredible artistic ethos. But no. I'm not dissing it. I've got it here in the collection, and it's an achievement. And my God, I can't make and publish prints like this. It's just beyond us at the moment. So I'm not sort of completely dissing it, but just so we know, there is a difference, For me, what spoils it is just the color matching just doesn't work. And I'm a British dude who doesn't really get this stuff, but you can see the difference after you've seen enough of these prints. Look at the colors here. They just do not work. That stupid pink, it's one of those dyes that came from Germany. Not that German colors are fine in their sense. They don't make any sense here. And yet when you go back to one that's done properly, the colors blend and the colors match. And this one, you can see the difference. So it's really frustrating. They came so close, 90x% of the time. What we could be seeing too here, and I have no way to tell on this, is we could be seeing a set of blocks that was published first and done really nicely with printers who had good taste, made good color balances, and the book was published very nicely, very possible. Then the blocks are there. Publisher sells the blocks, goes bankrupt, the blocks goes out into the world, whatever. Somebody else grabs the blocks, there's a printer, hey, let's publish a book. There's no copyright. And the next level of printers who did it were not quite as sensible. They didn't have the sensibility that the first group did. Maybe this was done 20 years later, or just cheaper. Or the publisher wouldn't pay for nice pigments for his printers. He just paid, no, we're going to get the cheap stuff. I don't know. The carving, I guess whatever, it is what it is. This has been printed with, the black is too strong black and the pressure has been a little bit too hard. So when we see lines, if we zoom in here, let's just grab some place completely at random here, the carving. It's perhaps okay. Well, no, it isn't. You can see this line here, look. It's a bit fat, it wavers, it's a bit thin. So the carving too is not so great. So my first theory that maybe this was published beautifully first and this is a later edition, that's probably not correct now, thinking about it now. Because the carving, the same thing. This is not top rank carving, you know. If we go back to the other book, whatever, let's try and find something similar. Whatever. The kimono lines, you know. And here, look at this right there, the very first line we look at. Thin, going to thick, tapering. It's better carving here. So it is. So it's just generally a lower class production. That's all. The same thing. Look at this. He's hacked this out. Chuck, 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 to make a pattern. Considering though that it's 120 years old at least, maybe more, the coloring has survived, you know, quite well. Is that the end of it? One more, two more. Oh, we have a creature. We have a creature. Just a minute. Okay, we have a boy with his horse head. This, I think, is maybe New Year. It's either New Year or Shichigo-san. Is there any other hints? Oh, it's New Year. The sunrise. And we have an animal. Okay, I think it's pretty clear what this is supposed to be. No, come on, with a tail like that, it's pretty clear what this is supposed to be. I think that one counts as a dog. I'm not sure he's just wearing some kind of collar. They've dressed it up in some kind of collar. I don't know. He's got hair on his feet. Is there a dog breed that has hair on their feet? I don't know. So as far as we've seen, you know, based on what we've seen today, that's not actually a bad dog. We have seen far, far worse. Two more. Okay, there's a wedding scene. This is a wedding. The lady being led off to her doom. Lots of embossing. I don't know if you can see it. But this pink, my God, this pink. It's an aniline dye watered down. I couldn't put this book in water. You hear me talk about this sometimes. If we wanted to soak these prints off their backing to help preserve them, I cannot do that. This pink would dissolve in water instantly. If I put this print into water, we will end up with pink water and a pink sheet. These are not safe. Here's the last one, I think. Yep. What have we got? It's tea ceremony, is it? Yeah, it's tea. The lady is getting a tea ceremony ready, I believe. Not quite sure. I don't see any tea bowls, but I see hot water going on. Tea ceremony, I guess, although I don't see any tea bowls. So, I'm really not sure about that. I said there's no bowls, and that's a big tub of water. What is she doing? I don't know. What else might they be doing? She's got a scoop or a spoon. Cha no yu. It is. This is a tea ceremony. It says cha no yu. Hot water for tea. It's tea ceremony. Whatever, maybe this is the last page of the book, they ran out of money. They couldn't afford the tea bowls, maybe. I don't know. You tell me. So good. And again, the colors, just please, please, please. I'll have nightmares about this tonight. I will have nightmares tonight about this. Okay, there we go. We should refresh our palate by looking at the proper one, but okay, it's all right. Things are what they are. That's part of our motive here, just to show you all the different kinds of woodblock prints that were available. Not everything was glorious, wonderful work. it was a complete full mix. This is not badly done, but just. Okay, one more thing before we leave. One more thing. Just takes 1 minute to show you here, maybe whatever. I screwed up yesterday, the last stream. It was Thursday. A package arrived. There was a package delivery outside. The boxes came in, the guy delivered it. He put 3 boxes on the floor. And one, I knew the bottom one, it was from Chiharu-san, it was Prince. The next one was Kubota-san, Prince. And somebody said, "It's a present, open it." And the top one was Amazon. And I thought, it's just our usual daily Amazon. It's more print or ink or stuff like that. And after the stream was closed, I looked at the box here, and it says actually in Japanese, "Kono otodokemono wa gift desu." Kono otodokemono wa, the package you have just received is a gift, okurimono. And it's sent to David Bowl, and it says on the outside that it's a gift. And I could have opened it on the stream. I opened it out, after, and I'm opening it here now. And it is indeed a gift. And somebody in the stream, I saw the chat later, somebody said, "It's a present, open it." And I had not seen that, I'm sorry. And it says here, "Happy birthday, Dave, from your friends and fans. Amazon JP." And that is the message. So it could be somebody here, or it could be all of you here. I don't have any idea what this is about. I didn't go any farther. But I should have done this clearly on Thursday. I am sorry. I assume it's perhaps somebody here. Package of money? I don't think so. Warning, to avoid dangerous suffocation, keep this plastic bag away from babies and children. I am now in my second childhood, but I don't think that counts. Oh, it's a card. It's a birthday card, show. It's a fat birthday card. Whoa. A 3D birthday card. There is a message. It's a message from the people who make it. Key charm. Okay, it's a company that makes key charms and cards and small presents, and they're not telling me who. Somebody has ordered it from their website and asked to be sent to me. It's OJ Sensei is the company who makes these. That's not the person who sent it. And I don't know, there's no other message, so it's friends and fans. Somebody out there, if this is you, thank you for the gesture. Thank you very much. And Amazon delivered it exactly at the perfect time, and I screwed up and missed it. Sorry about that. If you're responsible for this, thank you very much. It's a nice gesture. Birthdays for me are not such a big deal anymore, but this one I have been felt was a big deal. It's not time to talk about it now, but I changed my life when I was 60. I really tried to change my life, and I succeeded. Boy, did I succeed. I changed my life. And the last few weeks and months, I've been having the feeling that it's time again at this 70 to change my life again. Things are going really, really well. So no dramatic change, but it's sort of like the New Year's resolution thing. Things that are missing in my life, or things that I need to do that I should be doing, and some other stuff that I want to do, but if I don't get around to it, it won't happen. We'll talk about this part later. But at 70, there's a bit of a resolution here to change up some things. That pool is part of it. This is part of it. And of course, keeping our business happy and stable is another part of it. So thanks very much for the gestures for the birthday. No more, Mr. Nice Guy. Happy to be 70, I think. Pretending to be happy to be 70. Okay, this is Saturday. I am now out to Ome this afternoon. There's a ton of shipping work. The ladies got overwhelmed the last few days. They could not finish the shipping. There's a bunch of people who will be angry if we don't get stuff out soon. So I'm going to spend the next 2 days wrapping and packing packages. Stand by for wrong orders. Who knows? I'll be back here in Asakusa Monday morning with another stream. Kodingami says, is that image related to your ex-wife? No, it's not her farm at all. No connection. This one is just me. We'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about it later. It's way, 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 way too soon. Thank you for the friendship and the fans and the friendship and everything else and support. And let's now get busy for the day. Bye for now. Thank you. We don't really have a floater. Ninja is up in action. Oh, see the blue board at the very right-hand side of the image there. There's a cone, and next to it is a blue board. It's a chunk of styrofoam, and that's their shuriken target. And they stand out in the street, and they throw the shuriken thunk, thunk into that board as a bit of an advertising. And I can't wait for the policeman to walk by and see them doing that one day. I have no idea. Okay, time to get out of here. Thanks again. See you Monday morning.